this is the review for your quiz on lessons 5.1 and 5.3. Remember we did 5.3 first and then we did 5.1. Please take notes during this on a sheet of paper, very similar to what you're going to see on the quiz, so it's important that you prepare yourself. The first question says to find the area of the triangle. So what I'm looking for on your quiz is that you're first writing out what the area of the triangle is. So to find the area of a triangle, we know A, or area, equals 1/2 base times height. Once I have that formula written out, I'm going to plug in what I know and solve. So here we have area equals 1/2 times, well, the base is 4 and the height is 8. Remember that height is in that middle of the triangle. So now we know multiplication. We can multiply this anyway. We could take 1/2 times 4, then times 8, take 4 times 8. It's all multiplication, so it doesn't matter what order you go in. I'm going to start with 1/2 times 4. Well, 1/2 of 4 I know is 2. So I'm going to take 2 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. And then I have to add a label. I know area is squared and my label is centimeters. So 16 centimeters squared. This one says a triangle has a perimeter of 112 centimeters. If the length of two sides are 50 centimeters and 48 centimeters, what is the length of the third? So we know the total is 112, one side's 50, and one side is 48. So I know, first of all, my formula for perimeter for a triangle is A plus B plus C. All of those side lengths added together. I'm given my perimeter of 112, and then I know two side lengths. It doesn't matter what variables you plug them in for. I'll just do A and B. So 50 plus 48 plus C equals 112. And now to solve this, I want to solve for C. So I'm going to add 50 plus 48 together. 50 plus 48 gives me 98. So now I have 98 plus C. Well, I need to get that 98 away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 98 from both sides. Okay, so to get C by itself, I'm going to subtract 98 from both sides, because that just leaves me with C equals, and then I take 112 minus 98, and I get 14. And we know perimeter or side lengths are just a distance, so I'm just going to do 14 centimeters. Squared is only for area. All right, number 3 says find the missing dimension if the perimeter is 80 inches. So we know that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So if our perimeter is 80, I'm going to plug that in for P. And 2L, we don't know the length, but we do know the width. 15. So I take 2 times 15. And then I'm going to solve this, okay? So I get 80 equals 2L plus 2 times 15 is 30. I'm going to take 30 away from both sides. And I get 50 equals 2 times L. To get rid of that 2 times L, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 so that I get L equals 50 divided by 2 is 25. Okay, it's just a dimension, so it's going to be 25 inches. Another way that you can solve this, you know that perimeter is all of the sides added together. So you could take 15 plus 15 plus the length equals 80. Well, 15 plus 15 is 30, plus L equals 80. So I take away 30 from 80. And then we have L plus L equals 50. So to figure out what L is, something plus something, it has to be the same number equals 50. Well, I know 25 plus 25 equals 50, so 25 inches. So that's two different ways to get it. All right, the next ones are review of inequalities. So it says the Giant Stadium in New Jersey can seat up to 80,244 people. Write an inequality that represents the number n of people that the stadium can seat. Okay, so we know n is the number of people, and it can seat up to 80,242, which means I could have 10 people in the stadium. I could have 79,000 people in the stadium, but I couldn't have 80,000 people, or I'm sorry, I couldn't have 90,000 people in the stadium because that's too much. So I know n has to be less than or equal to, because up to means it can include that number. We could have exactly 80,242 people. So n is less than or equal to 80,242. And then to graph that, I'm going to plot that number on the number line. And we'll do a couple numbers. Let's do 80,243. 80,244, 80,241, 80,240. So I know since it's less than or equal to, since there's that equal sign underneath, my circle is going to be closed because it includes 80,242. And less than means it has to be numbers to the left of that. Smaller than 80,242 because it can't be bigger. Number 5 says to earn a partially meet score on your MCA, your score needs to be at least 740 and less than 750. Write an inequality to show what score you need to partially meet the standards. So in your notes, you have all those keywords written down, at least and less than. So we know, let's just use X for our score. I'm going to do these separately and then combine. So if X has to be at least 740, well, at least, that tells it has to be greater than or equal to 740. It has to be bigger than that number or exactly that number. And then X also has to be less than 750. So we know less than, we write like this, and we have 750. So when we write problems like this, we know our X has to be in the middle and both arrows have to be pointing in the same direction. So I always start with the X is less than 750. And then I'm going to flip this first one around so that the X would be on the right side. So we know X is greater than or less than, so I'm like writing it backwards almost. 740. Now, I'm going to plot these numbers on my number line. So I have 740, 750, we'll do 760, and 730. We know the circle above 740 is closed because it's less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. The equal to means it's closed. And the circle above the 750 is open because it can't be equal to 750. It has to be less than that. So thinking about what answer would work here, it has to be in the middle. So let's say I get a score of 745. Well, that's bigger than 740 and less than 750. So we know our line is going to connect those circles.